So after the disaster that was Halloween Resurrection, as well as the unfortunate passing of Mustafa Akkad, Malik Akkad decided to take the Halloween franchise and start over from scratch, doing a complete reboot of the franchise with Rob Zombie at the helm directing it. Would that be a wise decision? Well, today we're going to talk about it, so let's get spooky. Greetings everyone, my name is Nightshade, this is The Night Shift, a home for all things spooky, and today we're looking at Rob Zombie's Halloween, released in 2007. And this is one of those films that is a little bit more on the divisive side in the Halloween fandom. I've seen people say that this is one of their favorite in the entire franchise, and I've also seen people say they absolutely hate this movie, and you know, fair enough. So the first time I watched this, I went with a group of friends, and we saw it at a midnight release party, back whenever those were still a thing. And when the movie was over and we all kind of reconvened in the parking lot, it seemed that all of my friends absolutely loved this film. And honestly, at that time, I didn't know how I felt about it. It didn't sit well with me the first viewing, and so I went and I saw it again and was like, you know what, this just isn't for me. This isn't one of my favorites at all. And then I rewatched it for this video here, and yeah, I'm still not a big fan of this, but there are aspects to this movie that I do like. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the review. I'm gonna break this down into two categories, the positives and the negatives. I'm gonna give you guys my critique. We're gonna score this out of 10 at the end of the video, and then we'll probably end it there. Now with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the review, starting with so the cinematography in this, I would say, is pretty good. There's a lot of really good shots and a lot of decent composition in this film, and you know, give credit where credit is due. This was a beautifully shot film. I like some of the shaky cam stuff that they add to this to give it a little bit more of an impact as well. Like particularly when you know, Micro Myers when little Michael Myers actually goes through and kills Judith, it looks like it was all done handheld, and you know, it gives it a little bit more of an impact. It's a stylistic choice that I think works well in this particular Halloween film. The cinematography is great, the lighting and composition and all the shots looks pretty good as well. So you know, it's a really well shot film. So yeah, let's move on to the next positive, which is, so in this outing, Michael Myers is portrayed by one Tyler Mane, and he is an absolute fucking unit of a man. Like, he is huge. And whenever he is portraying Michael Myers, he is shit your pants terrifying. Although I'm not a huge fan of like big hulking Michael Myers, it works for this film in particular. So for everything that I don't like about this movie, I will concede that Michael Myers in this film is actually pretty great and genuinely terrifying. That boy is scary as fuck as Michael Myers, and I think Tyler Mane absolutely crushed it in the role. Like, this Michael Myers is absolutely brutal as hell. The kills in this are brutal as hell, and Tyler Mane behind that mask, scary as hell. So yeah, the Michael Myers in this is absolutely going to go onto the positives list. And we can't talk about Michael Myers without talking about our next positive, which is, I honestly think the masks in this film are really, really good. And for the longest time, the Rob Zombie Michael Myers mask was my favorite since Halloween 2. I thought it was the best one in the lineup up to this point. Like the clean mask specifically, the one, you know, from the before the escape from Smith's Grove. I thought that one was the best in the franchise since Halloween 2. And right now somebody is angrily typing, I can't believe you fucking said that. Halloween 6 is the best mask since the original, you stupid. Okay. That's your opinion, man. It's fine. But yeah, the clean mask is actually really, really good. I love that one, and I even love the rotted mask in this one. The main mask throughout the rest of the film, whenever he's adult Myers, I think looked really good. Like, I think it would have been really cool if the clean mask was used in this one, and then the rotted mask was in Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I think it would have worked out a little bit better, because I'm not a huge fan of the Rob Zombie Halloween 2 mask at all. But yeah, the masks in this film I think are really good. They're one of the better ones in the entire, Halloween lineup. They do score pretty high in my mask ranking, which we will do at the end of doing these Halloween film reviews. But yeah, no, I do truly enjoy the masks in this film. And with that being said, let's move on to our next positive, which is, I think the cast in this film is really good. Scout Taylor Compton as Laurie Strode, I really actually enjoyed her performance. She's not doing a direct ripoff of Jamie Lee Curtis's Laurie Strode, and that's always great to see in a remake. Danielle Harris is back in the franchise as Annie Brackett. That's fantastic to see, especially after she got screwed over with Halloween 6. It's nice that she got another chance to be in the Halloween franchise and not get screwed over. You always love to see that. We get Sid Haig, Ken Foree, the list goes on. There's a lot of really good characters in this film, and, I enjoy them. I do. We've had way worse as far as casting goes in this franchise, and, this is one of the better casts in the entire Halloween franchise, and, yeah, I don't mind the cast at all. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to our final positive, which is, the kills in this one are pretty great, especially whenever you've been binge watching the entire franchise and you just got done with Halloween H2O and Halloween Resurrection, because those kills left a lot to be desired. The kills in this are a breath of fresh air. They feel more brutal. They are more brutal, especially the first set of kills at the beginning of the movie. And by the beginning, I mean the first 10-15 minutes of this movie. The kills are pretty good, and there's a handful of homages to H1 kill wise that, yeah, they're homages, but the rest of the kills, pretty nice. But yeah, the kills in this, absolutely brutal. Some of the best in the franchise up to this point. We're not talking about the other films yet, but as far as watching H1 up to Rob Zombie's Halloween, these were some of the most, if not the most, brutal kills in the franchise. And yeah, so for that, it's got to go on the positives list. And now with all of the positives out of the way, let's go ahead and move on to So the first half of this movie is the origins of Michael Myers and why he is the way he is. And the back half is a pretty faithful recreation of the original. We don't need to talk about that, but the main thing is the Michael Myers origins that I don't like about this film. In this one, he's just a textbook serial killer. He grew up in a terrible household, terrible parents. He gets bullied in school. It shows that he enjoys killing animals and all that, and yeah, just paint by numbers serial killer pretty much. And I'm honestly not a fan of that at all. I said it before in this franchise review, and I will say it again. Michael Myers is scarier when there's no rhyme or reason for his actions. Like if I were to do a Michael Myers movie, if I was going to do a reboot of the franchise, how I would portray Michael Myers as a kid would be a happy kid that lives in a loving household, has a lot of friends in school, and then one day he just becomes emotionless and then just starts killing for the sake of killing. I think that is way more terrifying because, there's no explanation as to why he is why he's killing anybody. I think that would be scarier, just, not knowing why he started killing in the first place. He just starts doing it and doesn't stop. But in this one, he's just a textbook slasher. You can follow the breadcrumbs and explain why he is a serial killer, and I just don't like that aspect of this movie. And then the second half, whenever he escapes and walks to Haddonfield, it's a pretty faithful adaptation of John Carpenter's Halloween, so it doesn't really add much. There's a lot of direct dialogue used in Rob Zombie's interpretation of the film, and honestly I feel like it was a missed opportunity to do something more with that area of the story. The ending's different, but everything else is pretty beat for beat with the story, and it feels like a missed opportunity. Like there was an opportunity to do more things, like, you know, like what if, say, we thought Michael Myers' sister was Laurie Strode, but it turned out to be Annie Brackett instead, and, you know, they could have like pulled the wool over our eyes with that one and surprised us with something completely different, but no, they didn't do that at all. They didn't do that. Rob Zombie didn't do that, and ended up, you know, like copying somebody else's homework, but, you know, changing a few things around so it didn't look like he was copying anybody's homework, and the story in this, it doesn't work for me. So that's why this is going on to the negative category in this review. Moving right along, we have... Honestly, I think the dialogue in this movie is just atrocious. It's not good. Like in the first half of this film, the dialogue is uber trashy and really just low brow, and it feels like people are swearing just for the sake of swearing.
Bitch, I will crawl over there and I will skull fuck the shit out of you!
I heard your sister got caught selling blowjobs in the bathroom. I heard they had to pump the cum out of her stomach.
And in the second half of the film, it's just rehashed dialogue from the first one with a handful of things changed around, and I'm not a fan of the dialogue in this film. Like, I think Rob Zombie's good at directing. I don't think he's a bad director. He's also got a really keen eye for cool composition in movies and music videos, and I think he shines there, but whenever it comes to like writing, I don't think he's the best writer. At least not from what I've seen. It doesn't mesh well with my tastes in movies, but, you know, I'm sure there's people out there that love the way that he writes and love his movies and stuff like that, and I'm only really fond of one movie that he's done, but, yeah, as far as writing goes, he's not the best. Not for my taste anyway, he's not the best, so, yeah. Writing and dialogue is not his strong suit, so yeah, definitely had to go onto the negatives for me. So that's going to do it for our negatives, and there's only 2 negatives for this film. However, they are 2 very big negatives for me, and yeah, I'm not a fan of this movie, and I don't think I ever will be. So with all of that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and score this a solid 4 out of 10. It is not my favorite by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not a fan of the story. I'm not a fan of the writing or the dialogue of this film. It's just, those are 2 gleaming negatives. I think those are some of the most important things to make a good movie, is good story and, you know, good storytelling, which, you know, kind of incorporated into the dialogue. So that's a very poor story and a very poor choice of writing, so that's why, even though I only have 2 negatives, it's still scoring very low in the franchise for me. So that is just about going to do it for me. If you like the video, let me know by leaving me a like. Comment down below what you want to see on the channel next. I will do my best to accommodate. And until next time, my name is Nightshade, this is The Night Shift, and I will see you in the next video. Stay spooky, my friends. You know, that one was a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be, especially with the negatives department, but, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you just say a couple simple things, and that's all you need to say about it. Anyways, if you're still watching up to this point, go ahead and comment down below, Spooky Squad, so that way I know which of you are the real ones. That's going to be key in a few movie reviews in the future. So yeah, go ahead and comment Spooky Squad in the comments below. And with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. All right, so I'll see you guys on Friday. So peace.